Alrighty, so I've got the whiteboard out again. So I'm in business. I'm tired, sleepy. I just woke up. I had a little nap because I got up at 5 o'clock to send some love letters to Prince William's wife and all that romance, which is indeed real. I'm indeed in love with her. Fucking it makes things awkward, doesn't it? Isn't that an awkward little thing to just fall in? Look at that. That shines some nice, beautiful. That's why they use those boards. It's shining the sun on my face. It's awkward to fall in love with the future king's wife while you're trying to save his dad and his kingdom. It's true. It's why all those stories are like that. But the hearts, especially while you're still in love with the wonderful woman you're with, and you're sitting on her bed in her room, and she's going to watch this. Isn't that fucking awkward? But we're getting, and then her ex-partner comes to get the kid. I haven't met him yet. I've got to meet him, but we've got to have an official meeting. But he seems alright. Wacky scenes going on here in military intelligence units. Someone think I'm attacking democracy, I'm attacking politicians, I'm talking a lot of smack about politicians. I'm not. It's everyone's fault. It's everybody's fault. Okay? I'm not attacking well, I am, but I'm also using their example as a symptom. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the root cause of the problem. They are a symptom of structural damages done to the structure. That's what I do. I'm like that guy that comes around and looks for termites, except way sexier. Yeah, there's a structural problem. Basically, and this is going to piss everyone off, isn't it? It's going to piss everyone off. Our structure looks like this, kind of. Now, you have to take my word for it that there is actually a structure, like a God structure that kind of sits above this. But nevertheless, our structure looks a little bit like this. There's a king at the top, and then there's like all the territory of the Commonwealths, right, down the bottom. Now this is what everyone gets shitty at. They're like, well, fucking, I want to be king. No, you don't. Trust me, you do not want to be the king. But basically, like, it's like the food pyramid. Like, everything's, but again, don't take that. We don't want to eat you or your babies. No one does, especially Charles. He barely eats anything. He has a very strict diet. And babies are not included on there. No matter how much fucking bullshit you all like to talk. But it's like that. It's a system of order. It's meant to be broken down to do, like, that's why we have King, Governor General, Prime Minister. Like, the Defence Force kind of operates around under the Governor General. It's like an organisational chart of any company or organisation, and then there's companies that deal with it. It is complicated, but the structure that I'm trying to critique and the politicians that are occupying that structure, occupying being the important word there, it is like any occupation. You are occupying the place, but these people aren't evil. They're being paid by evil people. Still, you're the one with your head on the block, historically speaking. That's why I'm trying to warn you, most of all. I'm trying to give you a little, hey, you stupid moron, get your head off the block. Because obviously the structure needs to be re-examined. Nobody is expecting that I will, hand write a letter and put melt wax on it and stick a seal in it and send it with 6 armoured guards on horseback to other lands. So that's how our structure was built. It was built like that. Now, this is what they're protecting. Those people with their heads on the blocks that I've protected because they didn't know. So it's a big, weird fucking thing. Basically, we need to self-determine all of our structures again. We need to rejig them. The pandemic, if you think about it, we'd been primed for that for a long time. Because we're all moving around and we fly all over and we're a global nation of fucking globalization, global, and distribution, global. Some little bug is going to get on that fucking distribution train and have a big old fucking orgy with the human race. That's what we were sold. But what actually happened is that it was the distribution of authority that was the virus pandemic. It was an authoritization pandemic. It was an epidemic of Karens, basically. And I found their headquarters. I found their fucking, like on Dusk Till Dawn, I found their little version of that in Karrenup, just around the corner from here. We busted in there with submachine guns and they were hissing at the fucking TV and fucking... They had a call centre just phoning all these small businesses, just Karren fucking city. It was crazy. And then they all turned into vampresses, female vampires, and they sucked the blood of the children that they've fucking mutilated. That got heavy real quick. But yeah, Roger Cook should not be sitting in Parliament with his thing. If his thing is like, I want a rugby team, it's on the front page of the West Australian, something terrible has gone wrong. That should have nothing to do with Roger Cook. Nothing to do with the Premier. The Premier is like, everything is... because, and this is the problem, because they're getting paid by globalised things and we're getting our power taken. It's like it's like clearing away of the tide and then we're just seeing this fucking dickhead being uncovered. And if you understand the basics of anything to do with politics or or business, any of it, you're just like, ah. So even Roger Cook, just because he happens to be the dickhead being, uncovered by the tide, he's like a jewel, he's like a diamond from some lost fucking kingdom being uncovered. More so than anything to be taken too seriously. It's impossible to do anything. We've been over-Karrened because we introduced Karens into the system without the system being built around Karens. Do you see what I mean? Can we just see? I feel it very strongly because I have a very plain example right in front of me. Like I was trying to do the very basic, the most basic of things. And I got Karren right out of there. And then I tried to warn the other people and I got Karrened out of those places. And then I tried to warn the world and the Karens tried their hardest to out-Karren the entire world. But it's basically as soon as we found their hive in Karrenup and what we did is we split we reintroduced them to different areas. So basically, if you think of this structure, the Karens as the power-hungry, grubby, elitist banshees, they had concentrated themselves up the top of this. But this is what happened. Basically, there was a fulcrum, there was an axle here that nobody knew about. And all the weight from these Karens, because the king holds this very differently. The king has like an airless, lighter than air capacity because he is held up by the praise and the loyalty of his subjects on an ever-increasing base, where they're ever increasingly doing more to appease it, whereas the Karrens are just trying to Karren. Theirs is heavy. They have a heavy weight to them, which can be, when used correctly, is wonderful. When used in a climbing ladder of Karrens that are really heavy, something happens. They all flip. It flips. And they reveal their giant Karren dick. Because the weight just flips it down, and they're just walking around like this. Just with a giant fucking Karren dick that was headquarters in Karrenup, as I said. And so right now we are in the process. We have fenced off the Karren dick. There we go. The Karren dick it's well and truly fenced off. They're re-establishing their connection with the ground and with the ground level, and they're preparing to re-emerge from their Karrenhood and to climb perhaps back up to their ovaries, which it also could be. But at the moment, because of the weight, again, it's just a gigantic penis. And so tirelessly hardworking men across the entire world right now we're just kind of building up this structure, just like bit by bit. We're just with rope and zip ties and duct tape at the moment. We're just like trying to re-establish. And actually, the most beautiful thing of this is we've introduced a lot of environmental things. We've got vines growing around it. We've got grapevines. We've got passion fruit vines. We've got asparagus growing somewhere. We've got flowers, and there's birds and bees starting to re-emerge as the men of the world slowly burst through. We burst through the fence of shame. Right here. This is the moment. That's right, folks. We've got confirmation. We've burst through the fence of shame installed by the Karrens that before they were overwhelmed by their own weight and turned into a giant dick. And we've done it, boys, just with the power of the belief of God, with the glory and with faith. We've re-established the fucking order. And as we then use the Karrens to secure this again, we re-emerge as one unit, as one beautiful male and female unit, where the male is not weighed down on the earth, but it is lifted up by tons of helium balloons, like in that movie Up. That's what that movie's about. They're not actually there, but they're there in our spirit. That is the male spirit to be lifted on high. Not to climb on high, to be lifted on high, and know that we will, as we are lifted, the men below us will take our weightless feet on their shoulders, and we know that we are all heading that way. That's why in Up, he's going up because he's an old man. I guess I'll take that fulcrum out, because now the fulcrum is like here, and this can just spin freely. No, it can't. No, it can never spin. The fulcrum's gone forever. We've re-established a beautiful thing, and you'll notice it's like it's balanced. And then as the Karrens get sick of being piled on top of each other in this giant fucking penis that's just coming into the ground, they realise that there's no men down here. It's important. There's no men, so they've all become lesbians. Then they start Karrening the lesbians. They're like, I didn't even want to be a lesbian. You tricked me. And they're like, yeah, I'm leaving. And then they just slowly start climbing back up to where all the dicks are. They're like, all the dicks are up here, girls. But I don't want to seem like I'm slutty or anything. I just want to every now and then I just want a fucking guy to just spoon with in bed. So they start climbing up back into the place where the dicks are. And then these other Karens, the extreme ones right down here, they're like, come back, they're all evil. And they're like, fuck off, I love fucking him. And then eventually they just cover the entire thing in beautiful Karens that are evenly distributed in the places where Karens are needed. Like telling newspapers that we should have more than one newspaper in the state as big as Western Australia. Like telling school teachers that they shouldn't be getting their curriculum from fucking YouTube and from algorithms that are purely designed to improve people's, like to stick people in bliss centers of bliss. They're just evenly distributed everywhere. Every single organization on earth is just experiencing a Karen fucking outbreak. If there were a cream like Clearasil for Karens, they'd be cleaning up. But there is no cream for Karens, for a Karen outbreak, evenly distributed. We were able to overcome the Karens down here when their thirst and hunger for power led them to fall. But when they're evenly distributed, that's where the Karens truly thrive. And they're like the police, but they don't have guns. They've just got persistence and persistence and a lot of opinions, a bit like me. Some could say that I'm a Karen in disguise. And if you said that, well, I would just tell everyone that you're actually a crackhead slut. And that you're having an affair with the fucking principal of Karen School. Then I would slowly but surely degrade your public reputation until you were outcast from society and perhaps even imprisoned. That's what Karens do. And that's the story about why we can't have an over-concentration of Karens at the top of our structural pyramid. This wasn't even meant to be, this was meant to be a serious thing, and it turned into a fucking stupid thing, but it's real. But basically what I'm saying is that, like, if I'm rather than me going, say, to Kingsley and going and becoming an independent or even a liberal representative and I'm saying I'm not going to battle the Labor representative in Kingsley because it would be I'm not doing it. That's what the French fucking dude should have said when he's stepping in the ring at the boxing match in France. I'm not doing that. The structure's broken. Okay? I'm just saying, no. I have 10 years worth of work, preparation, like actually living. There's no way. The Karens have been weaponized for too long. You've hit peak Karen saturation, and as I said, we knocked out the central hive, and now they're all scattered. They're like, shit, we don't have a central ideology to follow that encompasses the entire globe. How are we going to know specifically where to direct our Karenness now that Karen Up is returned to the sleepy little coastal fringe town in Western Australia that it always was when I was a kid? I noticed. I was like, why is that shop so fancy? that shop is a little bit too fancy for Karren up. Kids, local surfer kids, they notice when a fucking town is taken over by Karrens and a complete infrastructure. It's like the same as I'm sure the Afghanis felt, except we didn't have as many goats. But yeah. Karrenville City. This is the global, this here was the global control center for Karrens globally. So you're welcome. We took it out. We stopped it. Everybody can just get back to work now. Everybody can start thinking, oh, like if you want to open a fucking candle shop, you don't have to go and battle the entire global candle industry all at once. And if you feel like you're noticing a systemic problem, it doesn't fall in the hands of one lone person to take on the combined Karrens of the world. All they can really do is they can shame you, and they can try and put in rules that make you not able to do anything. Include criticize them. And then within their own framework, that also allows them to not answer. I don't answer any questions. I don't know whether you know this, but I'm attempting to shut down the largest plastic distribution company on earth. I'm attempting to do that. How did you do that? In my attempt to do that, in climbing this political ladder, I am distributing signs and pamphlets in order to make my case heard, and then have the ability or the potential at some point in my future, if I do everything correctly, I will have the chance to speak to one of the representatives from that company and perhaps get them to make a 1%, 2% reduction, or perhaps do something such as that. Karrens lose all their Karren power when they enter the structure and try and get to the top of it. Karrens only work when it's one Karren against the cafe. That works. Occasionally, yes, in history, we get a Karren that takes on the entire Catholic Church. Occasionally. But that's pretty fucking rare. And that's the whole thing about women, is they don't operate well trying to be men, because they misunderstand men. So they're actually acting as they think men act, rather than how men actually act. And that's probably why I've been misconstrued, because I'm trying to act as a Karren tries to act, but I'm actually acting as a man. And that's why I got sent to jail, I'm guessing. Anyway, this is long again. If anyone sees Catherine, just say hi. Say I'm always thinking about her. Yeah. And let's get back to building a country.